Hello and warm welcome to another website roast. This is Edward Zimberg. You've probably seen me on this channel a couple of times before here. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And what we do on these webinars is we basically go through and give really concrete feedback for how we can drastically improve a website. Now, I have a very special guest that I have a lot of admiration and respect for. His name is Derick, who runs a credit repair business called Credit Absolute. Now, Derick is someone who I really respect because he's someone who really, there's some people that I meet sometimes that I can tell their business is like a little bit what happens. Derick, for me, is someone who really pays attention to details and very, very smart guy. So what we're going to do in this session is I'm going to pull him in here, and he's going to be able to tell us a little bit about his business and some of the work that him and I had done together. But during this session, it's going to actually be quite interesting because we're going to go and give live feedback for how we can take something that was bad, that became a little bit better, and now we're going to take to the very top level. So this webinar here is not for someone who's just like trying to get started with the business. This is from going from good to great. Okay. So I'm going to let Derick in here. Hello, Derick.
Edward, what's going on, my man?
Very good. Mexico, loud and proud Mexico City is where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I got you beat probably in AZ with 110 or 115.
Yeah. You'll probably hear like here in Mexico City, it's so funny. They have these people walking the street all the time and screaming to get attention for like picking up trash or buy gas and stuff like that. And I hear them all day. It's the same guy and it's the same sales pitch, so to speak. It's just like the loudest guy wins. That's it.
Oh, that's great. I remember that when I lived in Costa Rica for a while. So,
Oh, you did? I don't
yeah.
think we talked about this.
Yeah, we'll catch up on that another time. But
In Arizona now.
Yeah, Arizona now, and plan on getting a vacation home back in Costa Rica. Though it's beautiful there. I love surfing, so
yeah, it's an awesome place. So, can you give us just like a very, very brief background to yourself and Credit Absolute?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. So I was in the mortgage business for 10 years, mortgage loan officer, helping people buy or refinance homes. And I just went through that crash back in '08 and then came back and got back into mortgages. And after I'd moved back from Costa Rica, but then I'd found that there were a lot of credit repair companies that were acting like they were helping people and weren't providing any real value.
Yeah.
So I looked into the opportunity of starting my own business and started Credit Absolute back in 2012. And one of the main things that I saw that I felt was of value was instead of being a monthly charge service, being a performance-based service. So we only charge our clients if we actually do something. But more importantly was the coaching and education, providing the clients on how and why the algorithms and the credit scoring models do what they do, and just really, providing that insight so that they don't keep tripping over their own feet. And so I focused on credit repair for majority of my 12 years in business. And then as of recently, really am excited and focused about the business credit and fundability program, which I've always had. It's just so exciting now, though, because I have access to over 40 products nationwide for business owners specifically, where the traditional banks usually have 5 or 7 products. So when somebody goes looking to expand their business or start their business even and get funding, if they get denied, the banks don't have to tell them why. And so it's very frustrating as a business owner for myself. In the beginning, I didn't know, how do I get the money that I need so that I can grow? And we have the ability to provide not only the business owner more opportunities for funding, but if they get denied, we can then talk to them about our business fundability software. And the
Yeah.
software is very special because we have proprietary software that identifies that business owner's gaps and shows them why they're not getting qualified for that specific loan. And we help them become fundable.
Yeah.
And it's super awesome. And that's what I'm most excited about, paired with the affiliate program that's not only offered to my referral partners, but to everyone.
Hmm.
If there's people that know someone with credit repair issues, then they can refer those clients and get paid for it now. We never did that before. But more primarily to the business owners or
Yeah.
the referral partners that have a database of business owners. They can say, look, I have a link that if you want to try to get approved for funding, you can go here and see what you qualify for. And
Yeah.
that's never really been available. And it's nice to be able to provide something that I wish I had a long time ago.
Hmm.
But also at the same time, I found that hiring a business coach was also very extremely helpful for
Oh
me
yeah. Oh yeah. Same
as a
here.
business owner. And when I met you, and I'm excited about today to get my website roasted, because just in a few weeks, the difference in feedback and comments and even uptick in clicks and leads and conversions has been, I'm kind of speechless. I mean, even my SEO guy's like, dude, like he keeps sending me reports. He's like, you're just seeing this. Like, so yeah.
And this is it's a great point that you bring up, because what I want to do right away is we're gonna go down trip down memory lane here. Um, I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna look at what your website used to look like. You should be
Yeah.
able to see it now, right?
I can't. It's so crazy looking at it now.
So we're gonna dig in here because it's so funny for me. There's so many people who are. It always starts like you just said. You're just trying to solve your own problem a lot of the times, and the first time you do it, like you don't know where to go, you don't know who to talk to, you don't really know where to start whatsoever. That's when I always like when people find someone like you who's walked the path, they've done this before, they know where to look. You just save so much time and effort, and you get the result that you want much faster. It's just hard to find those people, and especially like in your space, and same in the website space too. There's just a lot of people that doesn't really have integrity, unfortunately.
Sure.
Um, so we're not going to stay too much on the previous website. I just remember when we had our first conversation, which was it was a couple of months ago. Um, I remember you said like, and correct me here if there are any details that I'm missing, but the goal was obviously to generate business and opportunities. You have a solution that can help a lot of people, but you need to make sure that offer is done justice in a sense. Which my feedback to you on this site here, it's like a lot of good ingredients. But I remember one thing I said to you specifically is like, when I land on this website, I feel like I'm landing on a casino. It's like a
Yeah.
lot of colors, a lot of stuff. It's moving. There's stars. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. But a lot of the ingredients itself by themselves are really good.
Yeah.
So um, you had a video, you had like messaging here, but then there's something here. There's something rotating down here. There's some reviews here, seen on here. Down here, there's more stuff. So there was just like a lot of stuff to take in right away. Um, and then as we go down here, again, you have awesome testimonials. They're fantastic. You have awards. So that's why I tend to say, like, you have a very good solution and you have all the right things. But I just think it almost, when you meet someone and they're really trying to impress you, that's a little bit what this website felt to me, what it was
Yeah.
like. And then you kind of go like, oh, don't try that hard. Um, but so what we did then is when we had our first conversation, I gave you a little bit of feedback for how I think it could be improved, what we should do, so on and so forth. We then started working together, and very recently now we launched the new website. And the new website let's bring that up and see what we came to, which is this here. So now it's just a lot cleaner. Not too much stuff going on. And this is, again, a very, very typical thing a lot of people say is like, yeah, I have so much to share. You know, you're an entrepreneur, you're passionate about what you do. You just need to bear in mind your audience can't take all that in right away.
Yeah.
So, um, first of all, what is the difference you have? Can you go a little bit into the specifics? We're going to go and even improve this here because this is the thing. It's never a final product. It
Sure.
always can get better. So what do you like with the new site yourself, first of all?
Well, first of all, like you said, that it's more modern looking. It doesn't look, I don't know, like the other one. When you look at the other one, it was just so like elementary.
Yeah.
You know, the way that it was put together, the flow, and it was very chaos. You know,
Yeah.
very chaotic.
Yeah.
And I like the clean, simple call to actions and the clarity. And it's interesting that you're asking me this question now, and I'm glad that you did, because I just went to the Aspire tour for business networking. It's the largest growing business networking in the world right now.
Yeah.
Guys like with Edward Philman and Gary Vee and Pace Morby and
Big
uh,
shots.
yeah,
Damn.
and dude, it was only $50 to go,
Yeah.
and it's mind blowing. But I'm going to be going to this class on speaking on stage and doing podcasts and being able to be a presence and being able to speak to the right audience. But he mentioned four things about business communications. And so I want to share them with you. And
Yep.
first one was
It's good.
positioning. Positioning your communications is like, why are you communicating?
Yeah.
And he said one thing that stuck with me, and I took notes on. He said, your product cannot be attached to their problem. Right?
Okay.
He
What does that
mentioned
mean?
your product has to be their destination,
Okay.
as opposed to the product being part of their problem. You know, it's like they don't want it to be part of their problem. They want it to be part of their results, the success of their destination. And so it got me thinking, okay, like, how does that apply to my business? And so literally this was just yesterday. Number two was, on product is, how are you communicating?
Yeah.
Right. And that was one of the big things that we talked about in the beginning, is, how are we communicating what we can do for them
Yeah.
versus telling them what we're doing.
Yeah.
Actually, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What results are they going to receive? And then three was presentation. What are you communicating? Like, are
Yeah.
we communicating that right information? And four was the platform. Where are you communicating it from?
Yeah.
And so I believe that we were able to hit on a few of those pieces as we improved the new website, because, well, most importantly, we're just getting more clicks. So
Yep.
that means that we're communicating something
Yep.
properly. And as you mentioned, how do we improve on that more, versus clicks to conversions?
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'm continuing to always be challenged, and like, love that you're doing this roast so that I can also improve on my understanding and insights. And most importantly, as you know, so we can help others too.
Yeah. That's right.
Because this is like the fourth or fifth time in 12 years that I've redone my website.
Yeah. Well,
And it's not what I wanted to say, though. It was very relieving, though, to be able to be working with somebody of your caliber that isn't about just, hey, how can we charge him this exuberant amount of money and then not provide results, versus like, hey, let's work together as a team. And that was one of the relieving things of working with you in web tech.
Yeah.
Having that type of support and that understanding.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't like, if something wasn't meeting its expectations, we could then come and talk about it and make it work. I mean, as opposed to like, oh, sorry, we're on this timeline. This is what you're doing. Your next check's due. Pay us. Like, it just was never that experience. That, like you said, there's so many of those companies out there, but then also there's the diamonds in the rough, which I and just am grateful for that.
I'm glad. And let's actually dig into the roast, because in a sense, I will roast our own work here, which is I look yourself in the mirror and see what you can do better. Like that's always like a philosophy that I want to have, and like the way that I want to carry myself. It's like, yeah, what I would have recommended a year ago to you is going to be very different. I'm going to recommend today, because I've become smarter and better, and I've seen things that are much smarter than I would have recommended a year ago. And ahead of this call, I've now gone through the website, and we're going to look at a couple of things that I will need a little bit of your help, because you know the ins and outs a little bit better. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through mainly the storytelling. A lot of like getting a good website design wise. There's so many templates and shit like that. You can find that pretty much anywhere. That's not the hard part. It's like, how do you tell your story in the best possible way? And here's where I do think, again, me looking in the mirror, where we can even make this website a lot better. Because if you now get the right clicks, you're getting a lot of positive feedback on the website. Well, we still want to make sure that it's not just a nice website. It does deliver a result. That in the end is what we're trying to do. So just for context, I understand it, but it's very good for someone watching this to understand a little bit of the context. So can you first of all tell me a little bit about who is the different kind of audiences that you're trying to attract to the website?
Well, primarily, I've always worked with loan officers and real estate agents.
Yeah.
That clients were trying to buy a home or refinance a home, and then they wouldn't qualify for the funding, so they would refer their clients to me so that I could improve their credit score so they could qualify for the loan.
Man, that's just getting tougher and tougher every day or every year, isn't it?
Well, it is. The interest rates went up and they're coming back down, so I guess there's going to be a little bit of relief. But essentially, when you look at it, the rates are not bad at all. I mean, 6% is not that bad, but we got spoiled at 2%. So it makes a big difference. But parameters, and then the cost of living, and just things are more challenging. So it becomes difficult for people to live, because we find that most people don't even have a budget.
Yeah.
And how in the world are you supposed to manage your credit if you can't manage your finances?
Yeah.
And so I believe that, I want to attract people that know that we have a resource of free tools, complimentary tools for them to use.
This is something that I caught from you on the first conversation, that like a lot of people can get started and something around like you only pay when you get results.
Yeah, so we're a performance-based company. That's correct. So versus there's a lot of credit companies that charge a monthly fee. It's minimal. It's affordable, but they're not getting any results at a high level. They might be getting deletions here and there, but are they getting any coaching?
Yeah.
Or, are they getting any guidance on how to improve their scores?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just emails or, hey, do this or do that, because everybody has that in place.
Yeah.
And it's fine, but it's like, do you get to talk to a real person?
Yeah.
Or are you talking to a call center?
Yeah.
Are you talking to somebody that doesn't speak English well?
Yeah.
And that's important because we're talking about one of the most private things in someone's life.
Mm.
And that is one thing that has always separated me from all of these other companies.
Yeah.
And, you know, I might charge a little bit more, but not that much. You
Yeah.
know, not enough. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost become counselors,
Mm.
literally.
Yeah.
And, but that's because we care and we want people to not have to go through the same struggles. I mean, look, I have had the worst credit you could ever imagine, right? I've been through a very difficult divorce.
Yeah.
You know, I was a single father for
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason I'm sharing that is just because these are things that I had to overcome. I had to figure out when I was working my business, and I've had, you know, have had a good team, but that's also made me a much better individual in credit repair,
Mm.
in the business credit,
Yeah.
because I'm like, look, I already know how this goes.
Mm.
And I'm trying to help people fall off the edge. Like I'm trying to catch them, not when they're at the edge, but like 100 feet away from the edge. Be like, look,
Yeah.
do this now,
Yeah.
so that
Yep.
you don't get to this point. And that is where I would like to be able to really help or create urgency, is helping that person contact me 100 feet, as opposed to like, I need help now. What am I
Yep.
supposed to do? Because then
Yep.
it's more difficult for me to actually help them.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. So if we look at your messaging right now, here is a lot of the things that we have on the site is parts that we took from the old websites. Because again, as a web agency, we know a lot about how to build websites and so on and so forth, but it's very, very hard to know all the ins and outs about your business, the services, your processes, so on and so forth. So one thing that I always tend to say when it comes to this messaging, the thing that we see on the screen right now, this might be the most important thing of your entire website. Because in 2024, if this part sucks, they're not going to go anywhere else. So that means here is where we hook people in to want to stay and learn more about you. If we fail doing that, they're going to drop off and they might go to your competitor. That's why this section here, hero section, is called, is super important. So at the moment, we have, when we start reading the text, we have the photo in the background that is like looking very nice and professional, visually appealing right away. We then have, let me see if, I don't think you can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we now have the most likely thing people are going to read when they land on the website first is this here, expert credit coaching. Then we have over here, a little bit of a smaller text, but optimize your credit score. So this is kind of a little bit of counterintuitive, but eye tracking, when you do eye tracking experiments, the biggest text in the center gets read first, and then it goes to what's around it. So then it's likely people are going to go here, optimize your credit score today. And then we have improve your credit, fix errors, and boost your financial health with our tailored coaching. Understand and navigate your challenges with our expert guidance. So your messaging already here, I would say, is a lot clearer than most people in your, or most companies in your industry. But I think we can make this a little bit better. So now we're going to dig into to figure out how. And here's where I'm going to need a little bit of your help.
Okay.
So I did research ahead of this, and I found that there is a few really small details that can make a very big difference when it comes to this messaging. So the three things that you want to do here is you want to say right away, who are you actually trying to appeal? And a lot of business owners get a little bit like, but I mean, I want to appeal to everyone. And when you cast that wide of a net, you're going to catch not the right fish most often.
Sure. I get
So
that.
that's why I ask you that question. Like, who do you really try to appeal? Um, the next thing you want to do now, when you have that in mind, we want to figure out if you really good copywriting comes down to getting the visitor to really see that you understand what they're going through. They should really feel like, yeah, this is actually me. So that's why I always tend to say the initial message here should, in some way, shape, or form, address a sharp pain or frustration that your audience is experiencing. So I'm going to switch up my screen here a little bit, and we're going to jump into a document that I want to show you. This is taken from one of the most retweeted Twitter. What do you call them? Twitter storm? When you have like a bunch of tweets in a row on how to improve your messaging on the website.
You know better than I. That's not my area. I get it.
This here document is something that anyone who, if you comment on this video or this clip, yeah, I'm more than happy to send this to you to share, because this is all just to provide value to whoever's watching. But here we're going to go through a couple of examples of companies and how they created a really good hero messaging. Okay. So here we have now an example of Airbnb. The way you start doing this is you talk about what is the bad alternative to your solution. So in Airbnb's case, stuck in sterile hotels, don't experience the real culture. Yeah, that was a very, very typical thing before Airbnb. Now, what is the better solution? Stay in local homes, right? And the last thing you do is you convert that into an action statement. So here's what it was for Airbnb. Experience new cities like a local. And right away when you or can you see the screen now?
Yeah. No, I love it. That makes I think that's great.
Yeah, perfect. I'm just looking because when I see on my side here, I just see the orange.
No, yeah, we can see.
Okay, perfect. So, and there's a bunch of these different examples here. Dropbox, unorganized paper files easily lost in flash drives. Yeah, super typical back in the days. That almost feels like it's old now, like back in those days. Instead, the better solution, online cloud storage that automatically syncs your files. And then the action statement becomes upload your files to the cloud automatically. Right? So this is the first part. If we now do this and apply this right away to you, what would you say is like, what is the bad alternative to not using your solution or solutions?
Getting denied. Let's see, getting denied for loan applications and not knowing what to do. Something like along those lines. Like I'm trying to articulate it, but like, people go apply for let's just say a loan, a financing, any type of financing, credit card, cars, mortgages, personal loans, SBA loans, business loans, student loans.
I think you're on a very interesting track there. The only thing I would add to that is like, what is that keeping you from getting? So like being denied from the loans to allow you to have your dream home. So something like that. Again, you can probably phrase this a little bit better than I can even, but they're like, so you also mentioned the negative result of that. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, because I did have one of the messaging that I had before on a couple websites ago, or it could have been in I don't know where it was at, but it was turning credit denials into approvals.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That has a little bit of these pieces as we're looking at right now. Okay.
Right. And
so
that's what people want, is they want, well, and the thing is what I wanted to share, how this sub text could apply into what we're saying about getting your denials turned into approvals is that the audience is misled or see an illusion of a false credit score that doesn't exist. Doesn't really exist, like Credit Karma. They say somebody scores a 780, and then when they go to apply for a mortgage, it's a 600. And they don't qualify. And they like, oh man, I have an amazing credit score, because 780 is an amazing credit score. And again, that's a generic example, but trust me, I see it quite often where, people don't understand that there's 77 different scoring models out there. So it becomes very frustrating because there's no clarity.
Yeah. And okay, so if we then make that into the action statement in your case, we want to avoid being declined the loan. You instead give them a lot of the clarity, that the strategies and the approval of their loans. So what do you think in this case, a similar, again, we don't need to be perfectionistic. Like
Right.
This we're going to do right now is like, we're just shooting off the hip here, like a cowboy, but it's just interesting to walk through the experience to see what we can come up with. So
sure,
we have the bad alternative, we have the better alternative. What would be the action statement in your case?
Would it be maybe along the lines of getting funding for what you always dreamed? Getting the funding you wanted, getting the funding you need for your dreams, or something like that.
Got it. Get the funding.
Or what about like knowing, how about this? Knowing or having confidence that you qualify no matter what. Knowing, yep. I will not get denied because I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Definitely. That's a lot better. Okay. So have a look at this.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go and I need to switch the screen share here, and you're going to see a new version of your website. I've started just very, very briefly here, and this is going to be better and better.
All right.
Here's what I wrote. And this is not your live website, by the way.
Sure.
This is the back end. Helping families and businesses fund their dreams. That was the first thing. So I try to just address the audience and what you help them with.
Right.
Help families and businesses fund their dreams. Now we could have this here. We can even add it here if you want to. That might even be even more kind of eye-catching. But
well, we want to make sure I like families, but the problem is not everybody is a family.
Sure.
But anyways, I mean, I like that.
Should be individuals. Is that better?
Helping individuals.
Helping people and businesses.
Yeah, individuals and businesses fund their dreams.
Yeah. Okay.
Gosh, I'm trying to think. Is
here we go. You see it now, right?
Yeah.
So I would even do this. I would take expert credit coaching, put this here, And this sentence, the green one that I had here, I would probably make that the main one. That's the first thing that I'm going to read. Again, I don't need expert credit coaching. I'm looking for a result. So that's why I'm saying, like, what I want is to fund my dreams. So I think that's what I would change here: helping business people in business fund their dreams. Expert coaching, credit coaching goes where the green is now, and then we in the subheading, that's what we're going to work on next. How to make that, and bear in mind that there's all of these small little details that we're mixing with now can make a very, very big difference with the first experience people have when they come on your website. And if it's better, far more people are going to want to stay, and far more likely then to want to engage as well.
What? So I was playing around here as we were chatting, but
Okay.
what if we said something like empowering your financial journey to success,
Yep.
and and then this could be helping individuals and businesses secure the funding they need to achieve their dreams. Now that's a little long,
Yeah.
but it's a it's
Yeah.
a good it's a good play on the words. I mean, how does that resonate?
Definitely. I think that's good. I think that's good. But
Or
you see,
turning financial goals into reality.
that's much better, I would say, because that's so short too.
Yeah.
Um, and then the small text could be the target audience, serving both people and businesses, helping them fund their financial dreams. Or, I think that's what we just said, or a version of that. Um,
Yeah,
so
I could, let's see here. Do you have a way that I can message you this? Do you want this now, or do you want me to?
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna after this session, I'm gonna go through the recording, and I can
Yeah,
send this to you as well. So we don't need to take the notes now. Um, I want to go back this here for a second.
sure.
So now we have the first action statement. We scroll a bit further down now. Now here we're going to get some concrete examples. You familiar with Zapier, the company Zapier?
Maybe.
It's this. It's a very, very smart tool. Like, for a lot of people, like doing integrations and stuff like this on websites, super techy and hard.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Is it? Yes, I use
Yeah.
it. I have it.
Okay. There we go. Um, so here we're now going to see an example, because now what we're going to do is we're going to add a hook. So now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out your target audience. What is normally the objection? Like, again, you're in a very competitive space. And what is the very typical, like, ugh, yeah, another one of these kind of companies. So let's see here. You see the document?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Experience a new.
So again, now we have the previous experience. A new cities like this is the previous action statement. Now what we're going to add is we add an objection into the statement. So for Airbnb, once again, experience new cities like a local. That's the new action statement. But now, what is the typical objections? Well, if you want to do that, well, there's only long-term rentals. And again, before the Airbnb really became big,
Right.
this was an issue. You needed to freaking find a real estate agent who can help you find a contract and lock you in for a bunch of months. You couldn't just go
Right.
for a week or so. What would you say is the main objection people have with working with you, or like in the industry in general?
Financial
Meaning,
affordability.
okay. So if you would outline the objection as you see here, um,
It,
without,
I mean that doesn't come though until after the sales call,
yeah,
right? So the objection in the beginning could just be credibility.
yeah,
Um, And I have more credibility than most companies because of my reviews. It's one of the biggest conversions of why people want to speak with me is because
Yeah.
of all my testimonials.
Yep.
So that would
So
be important data to identify, right?
yeah.
What is the main objection? And when you ask me that, like, what is the objection? Are you, to be more specific and directed, are you talking about like just in general why people don't sign up or schedule an appointment, or
Why are people skeptic to even engage with you? And here's what I can do, which I think could be interesting. Very often we all get blind because we are in our day-to-day business every single day, and we sometimes get blind to the most obvious things. I have a really good example with websites.
yeah,
One time I built my own website, and I spent probably around 5-6 weeks working on this thing and fixing all the little details, and like I really felt like, okay, this thing is freaking great. Call my sister, and my sister can always be honest with me, which is good and bad depending on the context.
yeah,
And I showed it to her, and I was like, you know how you're expecting, like, okay, she's gonna be so impressed. She just looked at me and like, what the f is this? Like, this photo, what does this have to do with what you're doing? And you say this here, like, I don't even understand what that means because I was in my own little jargon.
right.
So here's, and let me know if I'm right or wrong in this. If I would hire someone like you, or considering getting your kind of help, my objection would probably be like, well, aren't you going to charge a huge commission?
Sure. Okay. So yeah, a big one is, do you guarantee results?
That's great.
And I'm like, look, I don't have to guarantee results because you're only charged if I actually get it deleted.
There
So
we go.
right. So we're performance based. So
There
I
we go.
think one of the biggest objections is people having to pay for something they don't get any value for.
Exactly. So now that's perfect. That's perfect. So now we have your action statement. We have the objection, like, will this actually work? So again, in Airbnb's case here, experience new cities like a local, no minimum stays. Thereby, they handle the objection, the main objection people have with like engage, or what is it, booking through Airbnb. Now you have a such more compelling message. Experience new cities like a local in rentals, no minimum stays. Let's look at a couple of other ones too. Let's say Dropbox. Um, Upload your files to the cloud automatically. Risk of low privacy. So now they have the new statement is upload your files to the cloud automatically, chosen by over half of the Fortune 500 companies for our superior security. Do you see here how we like piece by piece improve this
Yeah.
message? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So back to you again. How do you think we could say this? What was the initial action statement there? Help realizing your financial dreams. Only pay for results.
Yeah. Turning your financial goals into reality, you mean?
Yes, that was better phrasing. Turning our financial goals into reality. Only pay for results. There, I think we have a very, very good message, if you ask me. Um, what do you think?
Yeah. I think that that's extremely powerful because again, I know from data that that's why people like to work with us.
Mm,
That's why one of the reasons they hire us is because they see all the success that we've helped people, and people, that's what people also communicate in the testimonials.
yeah, brilliant. Um, there is another last part of this that we can add, and some of these things makes more sense to some type of businesses and some to others they don't. Um, the last thing we could spice this up with now, and now I know because I know you well, You both serve businesses and individuals, which
Mhm.
is like here's going to be hard to. It's probably very different message you would use to those two different personas. Um, so here, what they recommend doing is list out 2 to 3 customer personas. And again, in your case here, it could be fairly easy that we say simply businesses or individuals. Um, let's see if we don't have the Airbnb example here, but um, if we do Slack, Slack is probably something most people know. Small
Yeah,
business owners and college organizations, very two typical audiences for them.
sure.
So here you have keep your business communications organized for free. That's for small business owners. But for college organizations, build your student organizations within one communication channel for free. So this here comes a little bit more into like landing pages, I would say.
Right.
What's going to be more relevant for you though is now the subheading. So um, I'm going to go back to your website here real quick. We go to Credit Absolute. And now I'm going to do my little nerdy hacking here. So we're going to change the message. So we said, say the statement again. You said it better than I did.
Turning financial goals into reality.
Turning financial goals into reality. Only pay for results. And I would maybe even do this, turning your financial goals into reality. Something like this. And then what I would do is I would, and now I just do the edit of the code of my screen. That's why it looks like this. But this text here, I would make one line. And this here, I would put on one line under and then in a different color. So it sticks out.
Right. So you're wanting to keep the helping people and business fund their dreams up there?
Uh, I think so. Or again, we could always keep this being the initial the initial heading that you have right now, which was remind me here.
Optimize your credit scores or
Yes,
something like that.
exactly. Optimize your credit score, and then turning your financial goals into reality. Only pay for results. This here to me is drastically better than uh, expert credit solutions or what it said in the beginning.
Yeah, expert credit coaching. Yeah, optimize your credit scores. We probably can make it plural, but optimize your credit scores today.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that is I think that actually would be great there. And then turning your financial goals into reality and then only
Here,
pay for results.
yeah.
Now, that doesn't cover much about the business credit or funding.
That's right. Which is what we're going to go into now.
Which we have the service under the services though, and that I don't know how you would duplicate that in the hero section.
So look at this then. We're going to go back to this. Damn, I'm switching screens all over the place. The subheader is what we're going to go into now. Um, the subheader itself should be a little bit more about the specifics of this. So here you see in this, how does your product work exactly, or which of the features makes our header, the bold claim that we have now in the header, like only pay for results, what makes this true or believable? So if we break this down, here's how you do it. You rewrite your subheader to explain how the claim in your header is achieved. Add the top 2 to 3 features of your product or solution. And then we're going to, of course, keep it very short. So back to the Airbnb example. Experience your getaway vacation like a local, no minimum stays. And now the subheader, an online rental marketplace with thousands of short-term rentals in your area. If we look at Slack as well, just for example, in context, Keep your business communications organized for free. Slack is an all-in-one communication platform that organizes your conversations into channels, threads, and direct messages. So the subheading that we have right now, I think is not that bad. I think the current subheading is probably, we could even keep it as it is, because it does fairly well explain what we just read here. So here's the new one that I created. I'm actually going to go and tweak this a little bit more to make sure it looks exactly the way that I wanted it to. Turning financial goals into reality. Let's see how this looks. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go and do these edits so aesthetically it fits perfectly the way it should.
You didn't want to put your in there, turning your financial goals into reality?
I think we can do that too, but what I try to do now is just to make sure that I had one line that was the big one, and then this one was just under, but it still doesn't fit the way that I want to. So I need to go in and use my developers to edit it correctly. But yeah, so again, like what we have done already here just now is actually quite impressive, because normally creating really good content, you work on that for a couple of days, you know. We're creating this just right as we speak here, and for me, I think we are making very big leaps ahead here with initial messaging that is much more clear, much more specific, attention grabbing, highlights the results, highlights the audience. I think this should resonate a lot better.
Now,
yeah.
What do you think, though? Because people come to me, typically have always come to me for credit repair.
Yeah.
So if they come for credit repair and they read this, would it resonate with you?
Yeah. It also
that top part is going to, obviously, we've changed it back to optimize your credit scores today.
Yeah.
And then it's going to say turning your financial goals into reality, or turning financial only pay for results.
Yeah.
I think that has a pretty clear message.
I think so too. And plus, in the subheading, you kind of mention it too. The first big line here, that's really just again meant to make you go, okay, whoa, interesting. Then you obviously start reading the subheading and the top heading.
Yeah.
Where you kind of actually address that.
Yeah, and then the call to action says improve your credit scores, or schedule credit analysis. I like it.
Yeah. And this is the next thing that I want to dig into now as well, is the call to action. The call to action obviously is hugely important. And in your case now, we have improve your credit scores. Is there anything else that you could imagine being like, have you had any, like, should we add this? Should we have book a call? Should we have get an assessment? Should we, like, what are the different CTAs that you have considered using?
One that worked really well for me on Yelp.
Yeah.
When I was paying for ads, which I'm not a big fan of Yelp. I mean, I like them for their status quo, but I don't like paying them because I didn't see a return on investment, because people come to me naturally, organically. But the call to action I had was complimentary credit analysis.
Gotcha.
That was the CTA.
Yep. Did you get any feedback from your audience, what they thought?
No, I did. I did run gosh, I don't even know where I have that data, but I did do a survey with my clients and asking them, like, what words resonated most to them. And I think it was like credit repair or credit improvement. So I got some feedback in that aspects. But, I always know free was never usually a good word to use because it makes it sound cheap.
Yeah.
Complimentary has always been a good segue. And then I used to say audit, but then I've identified that audit is a very negative term, and that's why we came up with analysis. So complementary credit analysis seemed to be the best CTA. But again, I would love to see if there's something better.
Yeah. So let's dig into that. And to that, we're going to use a little bit of. Have you used any AI to help with messaging in the past?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, if you're not, then you're not.
Yeah. But it's so funny. I spoke to a good friend of mine before this call, and she had been to this big business conference, and her and I talk about AI all the time, and we just said this, like, we feel like we're so behind, but we are looking at the crisp cream of the crop when it comes to AI. So they had like a little bit of a, raise your hand if your average prompt is more than 15 words. And like most people, or sorry, if your prompt is less than 15 words, and then vast majorities put up their hand. And then like, okay, what about 30 words? And then of course a lot less hands went up, and so on and so forth. And then there was one guy who kept his hand up when they asked, is there anyone here who has a prompt more than 400 words? But that's when you get really specific results that is very tailored to what you're looking for. I'm sure you've used ChatGPT for stuff like this in the past. I'm going to show another tool that I think we can use for a little bit of inspiration here.
Okay.
There's a tool that I've found very recently that is called Perplexity AI. And Perplexity AI, as far as I've understood, I'm not an expert at it yet, but I've heard it being described as Google 2.0. Whereas Google, when you do a Google search, you get the same kind of outputs. You might get different results if you're in Arizona or in Washington or whatever you are, but you will get very, very similar results nonetheless. You get this blog or this blog or this blog or site. Now, Perplexity uses AI to create the result for you. And it uses a lot of like sources and research. It's much more academic than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT sometimes lies and just makes up stuff that it doesn't really know. So
It is both.
we're just going to have a look. I want to improve the CTA for a website of a business that helps improve credit scores to help both companies and individuals realize.
Business owners instead of companies.
Okay. Business owners to realize their financial dreams. Is this a good initial sentence, or would you tweak anything here? Should we rather say get approved?
Yeah, I would say become approved for denied applications, for denied loans, you could say, if you want to get specific. Denied loan applications, yeah.
Applications, great. Are there any examples, A/B tests, or other recommendations that can be provided with the intent of increasing conversions? So something I've learned about.
Do you put in there too, this is what we're using now, so they know?
That could be a good thing to add. The more we give, the better. The site is currently using, and then you said, what do we have there?
Well, we have schedule, credit analysis, improve your credit scores. You could throw in there complementary credit analysis as well.
Improve. I'm sorry. Schedule credit analysis. Schedule credit analysis. Second was improve your credit score. Improve. Those two?
Do the third one, complementary credit analysis.
Okay. I'm also going to do this last of all. I'm actually going to link to your website and we'll see. We'll see if it even can read this and analyze. So now what we can do is I have a pro paid account of this. We can now search across the entire web. We can search academically, math. I haven't really used that. We can just get AI to create this automatically. Or it can just search like forums, like Reddit, for example. So let's just try social and see if there's anyone else who has said anything about this, and we'll just see what results we can get here. So now it does a search, and it's going to go through a bunch of forums and sites. You see here, it links up the resource. So this is why I like this for like doing analysis and research. This is a lot better than ChatGPT, I would say.
Yeah.
So, okay, based on the information provided on Credit Absolute's website and goals, here are some recommendations to improve the CTAs to increase conversions. Get your free credit analysis now. Okay. Boost your credit score today. Start your credit repair journey. So, okay, so I see what they do now. Number one is make the CTA more specific and benefit focused. Number two is create urgency. Schedule a free credit analysis, limited spots. Okay, yeah, I see what they're going for there. Improve your credit score in 30 days. Okay. Which one of these do you feel like resonates the most? Unlock better loan rates, transform your credit profile, take control of credit score. Okay. So what they typically tend to give me here.
Yeah, those are all. I see where they're going with them, and
Yeah.
There's probably a couple on there that we could definitely try.
Yeah. Or the cool thing about this tool as well is this is not just one search and you get these results. This is more of a conversation. So now you ask a follow-up question. So I'm going to ask here.
Is it better to keep call to action, so like 3 words? Or does that matter?
No, I don't think so. They know what I know. I've told them that I'm talking about a website and a CTA with websites. Everyone should know what that means. I know that AI understands that. Are there any A/B tests you can refer to that showcases numbers of increased conversion? I think I spelled that right. Let's hope. Okay, search for case studies. So now it's going through all of these forums and stuff like that once again. So what very often can happen is they might not have a case study specifically for what you do. Yeah. While they don't have results to provide specific A/B tests, example with numerical conversions, they do offer insights for A/B testing and conversion reduction.
Do you think it'd be better to do website to get what comes from the website, or what that option? Or I was just curious, or web, or was it what? Like, why did you want to pick social over websites?
I do think, since we've said in the initial prompt, I want to improve the CTA for a website, it should already there understand the context, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong there, but I think so. So here's just a couple of things that is cool to see. CTA button text, example, changing from submit to almost done, increased signups by 47% in one case. That's kind of cool. Focus on incremental improvements rather than dramatic changes. One commenter noted that achieving a 40% increase in total conversions over 6 months through continuous. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Um, the last thing, this is a search that I did earlier today. What about the color of the CTA button? Any best practices or recommendations? I spelled recommendations wrong, but I think it's going to get what I mean. So this could actually be quite interesting. We've done tests about that in the past, where just changing the color of the button led to like insane results, like up to 200% more clicks. So choose a color that contrasts with the background to make the CTA stand out. For example, if your website has a black background with a white and red text, consider a contrasting color like lime green for the CTA button.
That's so funny, bro. I was just getting ready to say orange.
Yeah.
I think orange would pop out on my webpage too.
Yeah. Definitely. And we can help A/B test this too, because that's when you really get the power, the juice.
Can we go back to the CTAs at the top?
In this search, you mean?
Yeah. Because I think it would be cool to try an orange button and maybe say, start your credit repair journey. Get your free credit analysis now. That one pops the most to me.
This here, start your credit repair journey. That for me is the least attractive, I think.
I agree.
It's like, all right, it's going to be a journey. I want results. You know, that
take control of your credit is good.
Yeah. I don't agree.
Okay.
Because it's like, what is the result? Like, okay, what if I have control? But like, shouldn't it be a little bit more oriented on a value I am going to get? Control for me sounds so subjective. That's why I'm like, when I look at like these here, get your free credit analysis now.
I liked it. That one was actually the first one that jumped right out to me. I'm like, you know what?
And also,
the schedule your free credit analysis, limited spots.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want people to feel like there's limited spots, but at the same time, I know why they have that because of the psychology behind it. But improve your credit score in 30 days is a good one.
Yeah, I like that too.
So improve your credit score in 30 days or get your free credit analysis now. I think those would be two good ones to test.
Definitely. So what we're going to do, Derick, is we are going to go after this call here. Now we can't do it right here. I'm not that fast, but we're going to go and do these tweaks to your website, and we're going to record another session. I think it'd be good just for us to give it a couple of weeks and test it and see what results we get. See if people are clicking more on it. We have analytics installed on your website already, I believe.
Yeah.
So then we can do a follow-up on this and see what this actually led to. But just as a rounding off this session today, how do you feel about this new messaging that we're coming up with here? Is this helpful?
It's exciting. I love learning. I love chopping things up and improving, and it's another value add and testament to you and your company, WebTech. I mean,
thank you, man.
What other companies are doing this with? Like, what you're doing is unheard of. And I'm grateful that you provide these type of resources to help people learn, and I'm glad that we can do this together to help other people learn as well too. And so, chop that piece there at the end and make it a short.
Exactly. You know, that's what I think the progress we made just here is actually, yeah, you just create a couple of sentences, right? But like this could just mean the difference between, there's so many A/B tests that shows that colors change so much the amount of clicks you get. The messaging is probably going to make a bigger difference.
Yeah.
We can have other sessions like this as well in the future. We'll go into other parts of your website too. But the first thing we want to optimize, obviously, is the hero section. When we get that really good, then we can start worrying about the other problems, I would say.
I love it, man. Well, thank you.
So, Derick, how do people get in touch with you? What is the best way if someone wants to learn more about you and what you do and yeah, engage with you?
Just go to creditabsolute.com. and, and or if you want to reach out to me directly, please email me. D Vogel, and that's D as in David, V as in Victor, OGEL at creditabsolute.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, just as Credit Absolute. So those are also ways to contact or DM me directly. Yeah. And if there's anything that I can do to help people grow their business or give feedback, I'm an open book. So
you're awesome, man. I have a lot of respect for you. So thank you so much for being willing to be roasted like this, and yeah. hopefully this gets just you more business thanks to the work we did in the last
and you, my friend, and you.
We'll see. All right. Well, have a great Friday to everyone watching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and reach out to me and Derick for whatever we can help you with, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right. Have an amazing weekend. Thanks.
All right.